Dave Snyder here. It is the third day of January 2017, and I just want to make a short video. Hopefully it'll be short on this. The reason why they call this the Sea of Moscow, basically Mare Moscoviensis is, I guess, translates to Sea of Moscow. Anyways, first of all, you can see that this is a very egg-shaped crater on the moon, right? And this weather pattern is all around the planet. This egg-shaped weather pattern is on here, on the planet right now at this moment somewhere. We'll look for it after I get the point across here real quick, for the main point. Okay, so we know that in Russia, and let me just point out, it's called the Sea of Moscow. So I have this picture of Moscow that I downloaded a long time ago, right? And what I did when I first aligned this, basically I put this big red spot, I had it bigger. I had that around, lined up around the edge of this big crater, and I thought to myself, that's a big city. That would be way too big. I better check to see what size Russia is and look at the diameter of the city. So I looked it up, and they said it was like approximately 31 kilometers across or something like that. Moscow was, and I was like, okay, so I was off. I was off on that. But I looked at this picture closer, and you can see there's actually, it's like a spider web. It's kind of weird. But they usually do this when they're following the geology. They have to follow, like when they build these roads or whatever, they're following like the geology of the, so there's probably a round crater or an edge, some kind of geologic edge here around this area. And so I realigned it. I shrank it down, and I made this part fit inside the crater. See that? Now I'm not saying it's right on there, but I can see like this area kind of has this little area where it sticks out of the circle. It's not really round there. Kind of, see that? I don't know if you can see that, but I was thinking that probably went with that. So anyways, after I did this, after I aligned this outer ring to the crater, I checked the size of the city to see what it ended up being after I was done. And it was really telling. I did not make that 31 miles. I swear I did not make it 31 miles. I just aligned this to fit the outside of that circle and made itself 31 miles. So, the Sea of Moscow, this is called the Sea of Moscow. There's some controversy over the name of that they, I guess they didn't, some people don't acknowledge it as the Sea of Moscow. Most space agencies do, I guess, acknowledge it as the Sea of Moscow. I guess they didn't want to call it that to begin with, but it ended up being called the Sea of Moscow, which is the only sea on the moon with the name of a city on the Earth, I do believe. There's, the rest are like Sea of Crisis, Sea of Tranquility, stuff like that. So, Sea of Storms and whatever. But anyways, this is the only one that has the name, like of a major city, capital city. So you got to wonder when you see that. Sea of Moscow. Why would they call it Sea of Moscow? And you know that this is an egg shape, and we know that Russia is into the egg and the Easter. It's like their main, religious holiday there. It's important to them, the egg, the Fabergé eggs and whatnot. Since the 1700s, they were making those things. So it goes way back before NASA or any of that crap. So that had to come from somewhere. Something influenced them to be into the egg, and it was probably well before the 1700s. I know, I'm sure of that. But this is a really, really popular shape in a lot of things. You look up, that's the egg right there. This is the Easter bunny, as I pointed out, or it could be just a big rabbit hole. But here, check this out. This is the weather over North America right here. I got to go up here a little ways to get it, but not too far. Right here. Okay, this is a weather pattern that was over North America. You can see I got North America pretty well, it's the same size as, it's pretty well aligned over North America. And check it out. That's the same pattern, folks. Whoa. What do they call a storm on the East Coast in the Atlantic? A nor'easter, I should have said a northern storm in the east. They call it a nor'easter. Wonder why that is. I don't wonder. I know why it is. Come on. See that? Ho ho. That's not even the best one I probably could have had all this time. It's the best one I do have probably, but I've seen ones that, you know, were probably better that I didn't save. I do have one other one actually. This one here is it's pretty close to the same, and I don't know if I have it aligned to the crater or not. I don't think I do have it perfectly aligned. I think it's aligned to the land actually. See, I tried to align it perfectly to the land. Oh, see how the borders all line up pretty nice. Try to get that like that. So it shows that this is not aligned to the crater. This right here is not aligned to the crater. It's aligned to the earth, the land, right? And what it pointed out that last time we had that Hurricane Matthew, these 3 bright spots here, these orange spots, are the most hit for are the, you know, most likely to be hit with hurricanes. These 3 spots have been hit with hurricanes more than any other area, you know, on the East Coast. And I thought that was pretty interesting that those 3, and you can look at that, you can see it looks like it might be aligned to the crater. I don't know. I can see that crater right there. Interesting. But anyway, Moscow, there you go. Moscow is right in the center of that hole. We look at this crater here, and you can see that they don't want you to see very much detail in this crater. We can see these rings, sure, but you don't see any. Look at this. Why is that there? Come on. You're going to give us this picture of the crater, but you're going to give it to us like with this crap in there? That's just so that you can't see any details, edges, you know, the details. You need the details to prove stuff. But I mean, I've proven it already. I've already more than proven it myself. I mean, you may not believe it, but I've more than proven it to myself. And people think that it's just because it fits there. You don't just go by it just because it fits there. You have to go by a lot of different things. You have to, you know, like this being great, the great, where great comes from. This is the greatest, the greatest. If everything else is great, this is the greatest, because the great comes from this spot right here. Catherine the Great, Peter the Great, whatever, and you see that it's right near the Great Lakes. Right, I have it overlaid in the weather. Obviously, there's the Great Lakes right here in the spot, and you can see this is by the Great Lakes. Well, it just dawned on me one day that, you know, that's by the Great Lakes. We have the Great Bear Lake here, the Great Slave Lake here. It's like a line of Great Lakes. These aren't the only Great Lakes. We have Great Lake here and a Great Lake up here. So, and we know that the Russians were the ones calling themselves great all the time. Well, so Moscow's right there, and I know when you look at Moscow, you can't really see that pattern, but you can see it in the weather all the time. Not all the time, since they changed the weather to crap. But you used to be able to see the weather, the egg in the weather. Come March, it shows a lot more during the March, but it's on the Earth in a weather pattern right at this moment. I'm sure of that. I've been seeing it the last couple of days, but I just, you know, I pointed out so much, I just stopped pointing it out because it just, people think it gets ridiculous or something. I don't know. I don't. So let's take a look at the weather and see if we can see it, I guess. Why not? I mean, I gotta wait for this weather to come up. I was seeing it like right here, actually. I was seeing something like right. Yeah, I shouldn't have even mentioned that part. But if you've watched my videos, you know what I'm talking about. I shared many images of the egg weather, and the Sea of Moscow, all the typhoons, you know. So anyways, I just wanted to point out the Moscow thing. That was the main point of the video. I just wanted it to be short, so let's just make it that way. Have a great day. Thanks for watching.